Good afternoon and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and this is my co-host, Cream the Cat. Cream, get over closer. Get over closer to the video. People like seeing you, Cream. Yeah, you're a good fat cat. You're a good fat cat. So today's video is going to be about Transformers Age of the Primes G1 Mirage. Yeah, they finally gave us a good Mirage, and I'm very, very excited to bring you this figure today. And of course, here at More Than Meets the Eye, we talk about the figure, how it comes in the box first. So today's video will be about the robot mode. Tomorrow will be about the transformation, and the day after that about the vehicle mode. So let's get into the robot review today. I think I misspoke. Robot transformation vehicle. That's how it's going to go. So, without further ado, let's talk about this figure. I was expecting I was expecting Studio Series 86, the movie Constructicon Scrapper yesterday, and instead I got sent this Age of the Primes G1 Mirage. But you know what? Make lemonade from lemons, right? Or at least find that guy that's got the vodka. As Bill Engvall would say, life gives you lemons. Find the guy that's got life gave him vodka and have a party. So let's talk about G1 Mirage in depth and a nice little review. So go below, hit the like button, share and subscribe, and comment. What is your favorite aspects about G1 Mirage? Because today I'm going to talk about mine. So first off, let's go ahead and grab and get this little accessory off. It's kind of stuck in his hand. So here we go. He's got a little pistol this time, and I really appreciate the fact he's got a little bitty pistol. It's got a stud on each side of it, or not a stud, a siege peg on each side of it, and that allows for it to sit in the side holsters on his legs. And I really appreciate that they gave him siege ports on the side of his thighs to put this little pistol in. And he's got not much going on it, but it does have a little scope at the top of it, similar to a similar pistol that we got with Menasor. And I like that. I like the little scope on the pistol, and I like that the pistol can sit on his hip. So there's not really much more to talk about. We're going to set the pistol off to the side, and let's look at the main figure himself. Now, when it comes to weight, feel in hand, he's got a decent weight to him. This guy feels like, he's worth $25. And I have to say, when it comes to the weight of this figure, yeah, cool. I'm very happy with it. Now, let's look at the underside of him, laying down on the ground. Pick him up. There we go. We got the fact that he's got this. Scrap that. There we are. And we get the waffling on the underside of the foot like normal. We've come to love and expect this waffling on the bottom of the feet. And there's also a siege port there. I love that siege port. But when it comes to this foot, it's got some great articulation to it. It can move back and forth, up and down, left and right. It's almost as if it's on a ball joint, but there's actually a little, it's because of the way it transforms, it has to move all over the place, and it ended up making it a really nice articulated foot, very similar in how mobile it is to the feet from 86 Ironhide, or 86 Ratchet, if you will. Now, putting him up on top, we've got the tops of his feet actually are parts of the engine block, because when he transformed this guy, his feet kind of combined together to create the entire engine in the back of the Formula One race car, and I love that approach where his feet are engines. I think that's cool. I hope they did a nice chrome job on the engine and made it look really nice and shiny and sweet. And I like the fact that the pipes for the engine kind of fold up on the sides of it, and you get it's just such a fun thing to feel. It's got so many textures to it. They did such a good job with that engine. And then we get up here to the leg, and this leg is made up of kind of the back end of the Formula One race car, because the thigh folds into the leg, and then the engines kind of fold sideways, or the feet fold sideways up and connect to the engine, and then the wheels come out from underneath the legs and make an entire little, it's just nice. It is. And I really think it's a cool approach to take that, the big bar up above, that big spoiler that Formula One race cars have. They managed to find a way to actually fold that spoiler onto the backs of the legs to kind of hide anything that may be back there. I mean, there's just a big wheel on each one, because it's the rear wheels of the Formula One race car. But I like that they managed to find a way to fold those little pieces up. They're really nice. It's really well done. Here, let me turn around so you can see that, because here I am staring at it on my end, or at least feeling it on my end, and not even showing you off that big wheel and the little little folded up spoiler thing. It's fun. And of course, he would have some amazing articulation. I mean, he does have amazing articulation. Double jointed knees. Let me turn him back around, and you see, his knees go up, but spin him sideways just a bit, and you can see that even though they fold the knee up, the big wheel hits the back of his thigh, so it stops it from actually being able to connect his, the back of his leg to the back of his thigh. That wheel, that vehicle kibble does get in the way a bit, but honestly, a double jointed knee on Mirage is just something that I never knew I wanted. And I'm very excited to get all sorts of fun little poses and stuff in on this guy. Have him spying on the Decepticons by being in just some random places where you could squeeze in, because he is a spy master, so he needs the articulation to get around. He needs some posability to fit into between cracks and things like that. Yeah, that's really cool spy master. Now we come up here to the thigh, and this is the part I really enjoy. Most of the leg is pretty blank because parts of it are made up of a race car. So race cars are very sleek and smooth, and it's difficult to get a lot of a lot of sculpt work into that. But now up here at the thigh, they did manage to put in little etchings. You can feel like there's this little etching right there, and then you go to the side of the thigh, and we've got that nice siege port, and then they managed to etch in areas around it, just to kind of make it special. It's not really much much sculpt work or molding into that, but I do appreciate the little etchings. I appreciate the fact that this just isn't a plain square of plastic as an upper thigh. It makes them come together quite nicely, in my opinion. Now, if you hadn't told, I am very happy about this figure. So we move him up to the side. He can kick up at he can kick up almost 180 degrees. You can get him some nice little high kicks going on like that. I like it whenever you can do that. We can pose him up to move his leg up there and that, and let go of him. See, it is stationary. He doesn't move at all. He's really good when it comes to the stationary thing. And I forgot to mention, let me fold his leg back down and give him the wiggle test. Yeah, you don't hear anything wiggling or anything like that. It's perfect. Yeah, all these joints are solid. I can wiggle him all day long, and he doesn't jiggle or anything like that. Perfectly stationary. Wonderful joints there. And I appreciate the fact that you can kick up a little more than a 90, and if you fold his knee up, then he can do a nice knee kick and hit the chest area of a transformer in front of him, and he can kick back more than a 90, and with the double jointed knee, he can actually kick himself in the back of the head, which I kind of find funny. I enjoy that he can kick himself in the back of the head. Makes me giggle. Now, let's look at his chest area, because this is cool. Okay, they did something neat here. Now he's got a full swivel in the chest. We can spin him 360 degrees. There we go. And he's when it comes to the articulation of that's just about it there. But the chest did something neat. So they took the idea from Siege Optimus Prime, where Siege Optimus Prime had those really cool wheels, and then they kind of had their own little fold up things where they folded up into Optimus Prime's core. They do that similarly here with the front wheels for the Formula One race car mode, because the front, his chest area is made up a lot of pieces of the front of the Formula One race car. The two wheels for the front are folded into his sides, and then what they did for the actual front of the race car, that low end spoiler that the Formula Ones have, and then that nice little pointy end of the vehicle. I don't know what you would call that, because it ain't a hood. The engine's in the back. It's just the framework of the vehicle makes that unique Formula One race car shape. But we all know that Mirage has a smaller version of that stuff on his chest. And instead of doing some crazy like hidden piece part where you pop out his real chest piece during the transformation, what they did here is they included some joints into the and you can kind of see where the joints poke out on either side, making it seem more flat than it actually is. And you can kind of see, if you really get in there and you can feel how that little low riding spoiler on the front of a Formula One race car is folded in on itself. And they did something neat with bar hinges there, where you actually took the spoiler and you just folded it like a sandwich in on itself, and it cut the size in half. And now it is a bit thicker than we've normally seen with Mirage, but I forgive the bit of thickness there, because even though it's a bit wider than normal, it still works out pretty good, especially since what they did for that core area of the race car is they put a hinge on each side of it and allow you to actually push in the edges. So where in vehicle mode it's kind of rounded and wide, In robot mode, it squeezes in and makes it very narrow and thin, and that works great for Mirage's chest mode. And when you're transforming him, you actually find out that there's a big hollow section in his chest because his arms are actually made up of the front of the vehicle mode that's not connected to that, to the front part that we were just talking about. I wish I could remember the name for that part of a Formula One race car, but the front nose, that's it, nose. That's the word, nose. It's got a nose there, and the arms during transformation actually slide forward and make up the core bit of the race car and connect to that nose in a way that I'm just very happy with. Everything kind of the arm transformation is a bit simple, but what you get is just truly awesome. And I love the fact we don't get a false front. Now, we've talked enough about the chest. Let's move up here to this head. It's a typical Mirage head, not really anything to write home about, except that it's perfectly scaled for this body. He can look down, he can look up, he can we can kind of spin him around a bit, just give him a little twisty. He can pull the Exorcist, and he can crack his head left and right. And due to transformation, he can actually look really far down. If you pull his backpack off just a bit, you can get his head to look really far down. I like that. I think it's a fun little bit. And of course, we spin him around to the back. We see that the back of him is it's very clean. We've got we don't even have any wheels really, except for the lower areas of his core, where we can kind of see the back end of the two wheels that make up the front area. And that's nice. They did a good job with this backpack. It all comes together quite nicely. And it's very smooth and very sleek, and there's a siege port there. I guess they expect you to take like the jetpack from Origins Bumblebee, or the weird jetpack that came with Earthrise Sunstreaker, and plug it in to give him a jetpack, because he didn't come with a jetpack. But that's, we're starting to expect some lack of accessories these days. The engineering for this guy is top notch, so I'll forgive the lack of a jetpack that you can plug in, and he's just kind of smooth and sleek on the back. So let's go ahead and turn him back around, and let's talk about his arms. His arms can raise up just above 90. They can almost do 180, but that of course shoulder pauldron does get in the way. Now they can spin 360, and he does have rotation in the upper arm, bicep rotation. And we come down here to his lower arm. He's got a double jointed elbow, which means that he can't punch himself in the face, which is always fun to do. And he's the only negative there on his arm is the hollow section, where if you can see that, there's that hollow section right there, where the hand actually folds into and out of the hollow section. I'll forgive it. I'll forgive that one aspect of hollowness. The only other bit of hollowness is the waffling on the underside of the feet. And it's just, what, I'll forgive it. It's really good, especially since they did put a hinge on the hand, so you can rotate his hand, so he can do sword fights and stuff if you happen to have a sword, I guess. And the arm, of course, is very sleek and smooth. We get on the inside of it, we got some nice little robot textures, as I call them. We got some little vent action. I like the fact that there's a vent in his forearm. I love my vents. It's wonderful. We got... Other than that, though, the back, the side of the arm that is visible when he's in vehicle mode is all sleek and smooth like the Formula One race car. Because like I said before, this kind of makes up part of the cockpit in that area of the Formula One race car between the cockpit and the nose. Ends right before those wheels, so that the little nose section is actually his chest. The way everything folds up with the bar hinges, and I'll talk about that in my transformation video episode tomorrow for blindformers, because this guy just amazed me with his transformation. It was just sublime. Now, what else is there to talk about? No, actually, I think we just about covered everything. So let's see. We got Lockdown here from Transformers. That stupid pirate thing that they did for Walmart exclusive. I found mine on clearance the other day, and that was really nice. So we put them side by side, and we see that their shoulders are very similar together. The shoulders for Lockdown here are just a bit on the taller side because they have this stuff attached to him, and then we're going to put them face to face. All right, and we get that they are looking eye to eye almost. So we did a good job with the size scaling here. And weight wise, Mirage weighs a little bit less than Lockdown, but it's barely noticeable. So we're going to set Lockdown off to the side. And yeah, finish this video up by saying I'm going to give this figure a grade S. And April Fools, there's never been a figure here the entire time. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I've been Blind Prime. I hope you all have a wonderful April Fool's Day. I know I am, and I know Cream is living his best life by just sleeping at the corner. Cream, that's why you're fat, because you can't stop sleeping. Stop sleeping. Until next Pride. Bye-bye for now.